Well, good afternoon from Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Burnley on Sports Extra 2 with myself, Mike Miney, and the former Scotland international Rachel Coursey, who is probably still buzzing from Scotland's win over England in the Six Nations last week. There is Six Nations action right now, of course, over on BBC Radio 5 Live. Ireland currently powering over England by 22 points to nil. Not even at half-time yet. Your football choice of listening comes initially on 5 Sports Extra, where Aston Villa are against Leeds. That will then move to 5 Live at the conclusion of the rugby. Throughout the whole afternoon, the Around the Ground service is on BBC Radio 5 Live. But the best thing to do is to use the BBC Sounds app to scroll through the games and give you a real sense of occasion from wherever you're listening across the country to whichever action you want to hear across the country. But let's focus here at Stamford Bridge as the pyrotechnics fire up on the far side, shooting bursts of flames up into the air. The Chelsea welcoming song sounds as the players head down the steps into the tunnel. But Burnley against Chelsea here. A real sense, Rachel, of the top 4 versus a real race to beat the drop in the Premier League.
Yeah, it really is today, and you would expect Chelsea to feel good, come in with confidence, certainly in the league. I mean, in all their games recently, they've had a good run of results, but in the league, 13 from 15 points in the last 5 games, they've been very, very good. So, could be a tough ask for Burnley today. That said, they did win in the league against Palace, came from behind. Those are the little moments that sometimes give you that character that you need in times of struggle.
Well, on that point, that's the issue with Burnley, isn't it? Go and have such a confidence-boosting win. Scott Parker said there was a real change in the air of the Burnley dressing room when they beat Palace, but they then go and follow that up with a home defeat in the FA Cup 4th round to League One Mansfield. Yeah,
which was remarkable. I mean, if you're Scott Parker, you've got to be so frustrated. It was a sort of game where he felt, yes, he made the changes. They should have had the team that started had more than enough to win that game, and they got themselves in a situation where it became a battle. They conceded opportunities, and that is just a real sucker punch to that great result against Palace. So yeah, really frustrating. Back to probably a bit closer to full strength today, though.
A large banner saying London's first and London's finest floats on the bottom tier of the Matthew Harding stand away to our right hand side. The teams are out, both taking off their tracksuit warm-up tops off, which reveals the laser blue, the royal blue of Chelsea, and the claret of Burnley. Chelsea themselves going well, unbeaten in the Premier League under Liam Rosenior. It was 4 wins from 4. It stays at 4 wins from 5 because of that draw here last time out against Leeds United.
Yeah, which would have been really disappointing because they took the lead that day, they looked comfortable, and they just allowed Leeds back into it. And probably that's been one of the question marks over Chelsea, is the fact that they concede a lot of goals. They've conceded in 4 of those last 5 league games despite getting a lot of good results amongst it, and they just always give teams a chance. They're so front-footed, the full-backs are brilliant going forward, and sometimes I think that just leads them to being a little bit, it's not a discipline thing, but they're just a little exposed, and those little errors creep in.
Well, Scott Parker and Liam Rosenior embrace on the touchline. Liam Rosenior played Burnley 10 times as a player, only won just 2 of those matches. Across his time at Reading, Hull and Brighton, he lost the Championship playoff semi-finals as a Reading player to Burnley back in 2009. And Chelsea make 5 changes from the side that beat Hull in the FA Cup 4th round 8 days ago. Sarr, Hato, Garnacho and Delap all dropped to the bench. Estevao is feeling a hamstring issue, we are told, and therefore plays no part in the Chelsea team today. Robert Sanchez is their goalkeeper. James, Fofana, Chalobah and Gusto make their back 4. Santos, who's getting a good run of games under Liam Rosenior, did know him from Strasbourg as well. He's alongside Caicedo in the midfield, then Palmer, Fernandes and Neto sit in front of João Pedro up front. As for Burnley, they ring the changes from that Mansfield defeat, 9 in total. Only Josh Laurent and Maxime Esteve remain from that defeat, embarrassing defeat at Turf Moor. De Brouwker's their goalkeeper, Laurent, Worrell and Esteve the back 3. It is a midfield 4 featuring Kyle Walker, Leslie Ugochukwu, Hannibal and Humphreys. Edwards and Anthony sit behind Zian Fleming up front. So teams are out, handshakes complete, club anthems sung on a cloudy day in West London. We are almost ready to get underway in the Premier League. Chelsea a point off the top four, heading into the start of the day. Burnley are adrift in the Premier League. They have a some 9-point gap to make up to Nottingham Forest, but they did win in the capital last time they were here 10 days ago against Crystal Palace, and they may hope they can do the same again and really upset the odds here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea get us underway. Royal blue shirts and shorts with the white socks. They are left to right in the opening 45 minutes, attacking the Matthew Harding stand away to our right hand side. Burnley with their little pocket of fans from Lancashire down in our bottom left corner as we look at it here. They are in their claret shirts, the white shorts, the sky blue socks, and are kicking from right to left, and including the kicking is Martin Dubravka, their goalkeeper, who goes long forward to Zian Fleming, whose all Premier League goals have come away from home, and we'll hope to add to his collection this afternoon. Chelsea regain the possession and use Wesley Fofana across the centre-back position. Now Chalobah, Andre Santos, and they'll slowly find their rhythm. Yeah,
just sort of figuring out this Burnley shape. I think we all expected it would be a 5. It looks very much actually like they're going to settle into a little more of a back 4. We'll see how that progresses, but Chelsea so far plenty of touches on the ball, which I always think is, you know, if you're in the Chelsea team, you think what a nice start. I think from Burnley perspective, they'll probably want to get a few early tackles in, not make it too nice, certainly for the front 2 or 3 players. There we go.
And there is a little bit of muscle from Zian Fleming, catches Moise Caicedo. That is a free kick blown by Lewis Smith, who's refereeing his first Premier League game of this season, not his first Premier League game in total, traditionally seen in championship matches. He did referee Everton against Ipswich back in May last year as part of a handful of Premier League games with this PGMOL initiative to slowly introduce referees to Premier League knife, not just throw them all out in one go and hope for the best. Manage a staged introduction to the top flight of English football as Chelsea play a misplaced pass on this near side, the right hand side from Reece James, their captain, gives Burnley a throw right in front of Scott Parker with his padded waist high winter coat on. It's quite mild in West London this afternoon. Liam Resenya's taken a seat on the bench and allowed the duties of coaching the team from the edge of the technical area to one of his backroom staff. Dubravka out towards this near side, Burnley's left. Here's Bashir Humphreys, swept away only as far as the midway point though of the Burnley half, and Chelsea nick in, steal the ball. João Pedro involved now. Santos, here's Enzo Fernandez, just a little shimmy from him into the left of the penalty area. It's a pullback trying to lie up Cole Palmer, and then eventually it's sent away by Joe Worrell, who smashes it over the halfway line, and between Chalobah and Fofana they just about sort it out under the pressure of Zian Fleming. 0-0.
Brilliant touch there from Joe Worrell. He was just having to stretch, but just behind him he sorted his feet out and just got an interception there. Hugely important.
Lovely ball cut through the middle, and Enzo Fernandez racing in on the left hand side, wants to punish João Pedro, who slides in. The ball crosses the line and Chelsea have a goal after less than 3 minutes. Lovely defence splitting pass down the left hand side. Enzo Fernandez was in wide left of the penalty area. He squares it across. João Pedro slides in. It's fumbled in the end, but Chelsea don't mind. They're 1-0 up inside the first 4 minutes. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
Oh, I thought he'd missed it. He was 2 or 3 yards out. Beautiful ball from Neto across the face down the left hand side. The pace is electric. Lovely splitting pass. He just comes onto it, side foot, rolls it across the inside of the 6-yard box. João Pedro, he almost missed it. I actually think Dubravka should save it, but he probably surprises himself that he can get his hands on it. It's just a very simple straight ball right through the line. It's really poor from Burnley. A wonderful pass just between Joe Worrell, Kyle Walker, Pedro Neto with the momentum. Brilliant ball across the face, and it's one of those ones we needed the referee's watch to tell if it had gone over the line. It definitely does cross the line, although we are just having a little pause to make sure that Dubravka clearly gets his hands to it. I think if he chooses to palm it away, but almost his momentum, João Pedro's momentum between the two of them, just carries the ball over the line.
Well, the screen has gone up for checking a possible handball here. Surely not off off João Pedro as it comes back off Dubravka. They're both sliding in the 6-yard box. Dubravka coming across goal. And does João Pedro take it across with his hand? Well, the signal is given that he doesn't. The goal does stand. The ball clearly over the line. And João Pedro, who scored in his last home game against Leeds, makes it 2-2. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
And it's the worst possible start from Burnley. Just had a little warning sign moments beforehand when we just touched on Joe Worrell getting that foot in the ball. Immediately Chelsea get the ball back. They just go right back down that left-hand side.
So Burnley, who have only ever won consecutive games in the capital once before in the same season, are behind after defeating Crystal Palace. They are 1-0 down against Chelsea as the fans now get a replay of the goal, which comes off João Pedro's right leg onto his left knee. It's not the cleanest goal he'll ever score.
No, and it probably was one of the simplest ones. He should really just side foot that in. He probably putting himself to ground in the end almost means he messes his lines.
Burnley with a bit of triangular play on this near side there, left loses the ball, but then Enzo Fernandez digs under it and it flies out. I think actually it's the corner flag in doing so, and Burnley will have a throw-in instead. Plenty of goals going on in the 3 o'clock kickoffs across the Football League this afternoon. The first one went to Shrewsbury Town. Ewan Morgan scored to put them 1-0 up away at Accrington Stanley. Accrington Stanley, who are unbeaten in their last 8 against Shrewsbury, but maybe the record changes for a club just trying to pull themselves away from the relegation zone. Bristol Rovers 1-0 up on Grimsby Town in League 2 as well. Ball swung in by Hannibal from the left corner of the penalty area. Robert Sanchez all the way behind it, catches it, danger relieved.
Yeah, wrong choice. He does really well. Hannibal, nice little combination between Zian Fleming. Well, Sanchez has just held on to the ball for too long. Referee's on top of that. It's a corner for Burnley and a bit of reprieve really. Hannibal, for me, should have played the ball in. He chose to shoot from just the pin of the box.
So the 8-second rule. Robert Sanchez had the ball in his hands for 8 seconds. Lewis Smith, in his first Premier League game of the season already, has a controversial call to make. I think some of the goalkeepers are sometimes saying they can't hear or see the referee's instructions. They raise their hands with 5 seconds to go. So it's given Burnley an easy corner here that they haven't had to battle for. Now it's swung in near side. Oh, Zian Fleming raced in to attack, and then Ugachukwu, the former Chelsea man, volleys it, tees himself up on the volley, right hand side of the 6-yard box, but it's over the bar. It's still Chelsea 1, Burnley 0.
Yeah, and a good chance there for Burnley. I think Zian Fleming attacking the first ball, almost gets there, doesn't quite. Ugachukwu does really well. He's at just outside the back post beyond the 6-yard box, takes it down in the chest, nobody near him. There's plenty of time, goes for the volley.
Plenty of early action for you. Match of the day tonight, 25 past 10 on BBC One. Reminder that Villa Leeds right now is on 5 Sports Extra, whilst the rugby and the Six Nations England Ireland from Twickenham takes place. You can hear that over on BBC Radio 5 live. Chelsea have won themselves a free kick. So elsewhere, Stockport County behind inside the first 2 minutes to Joseph Taylor's goal at Edgeley Park against Wigan Athletic in a Greater Manchester derby, but they have since replied, so it's 1-1 there now. Watford 1, Derby County 0. Norwich City 0, Birmingham City 1 in the Championship. Wrexham are 1-0 up at home to Ipswich. Ipswich, who've lost just 3 of their last 20 league games, are behind against Wrexham. All 3 of those away defeats did come away from home though. Salford City 1-0 up on Cheltenham Town in League 2, and Bristol Rovers have doubled their lead against Grimsby. 2-0 they lead at the Memorial Stadium. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0 here. 5 Sports Extra 2 live from Stamford Bridge. And the pitch looks largely good. There are just a few little divots you can see, but it shouldn't stop Chelsea trying to play their game. Burnley do try and get the ball on the floor. They just haven't been very successful at it all season. Reece James from the halfway line to the edge of the centre circle is Caicedo, who pushes it across that middle part of the pitch to Andre Santos. Malo Gusto with his hair tied back in a little ponytail is able to give it to Enzo Fernandez on the left hand side. Cole Palmer, 30 yards from goal. It's flicked to the side by João Pedro. Fernandez, left foot, rising shot over the bar. Goal kick. Dubravka had a little skip in the air. Always felt comfortable that was going over, but it's just the ease that Chelsea can create space. They still lead 1-0.
Yeah, well, it's brilliant play because Burnley are set up to press. Comes all the way from Sanchez, extremely patient through the midfield. Burnley doing their best to really avoid players like Caicedo, Andre Sanchez getting it, but combination plays too good. In the end, they work their way up the pitch, and Fernandes just taking the opportunity, early strike at goal, get a feel for it, get his eye in.
Good battle. Anthony wins it halfway line. He gets past one Chelsea player, but he's quickly blocked off by Wesley Fofana, who has now officially started more games for Chelsea than he did for Leicester in the Premier League. 37th start for Chelsea this afternoon, and managed 36 in his time at Leicester City, who earlier today drew 2-2 at Stoke City in the Championship. Other early results there: Hull 1, QPR 3, Swansea 1, Bristol City 0. Coventry pulled themselves 4 points clear of Middlesbrough, who play Oxford this afternoon. West Brom 0, Coventry 2. In League One, the leaders Cardiff heavily beaten at Plymouth by 5-2. That will allow Lincoln to close the gap a little bit. They're away at Mansfield this afternoon. Wins for Doncaster and Wickham as well in League One. And there were victories for Fleetwood and Crewe in the early kickoffs of League Two. 10 minutes played at Stamford Bridge. It is pretty much all Chelsea, and they're leading by João Pedro's goal to 0. Just that little hush descends over Stamford Bridge. Only blue and white on display as the temperatures increase a little bit, does allow fans to start showing their club colours a little bit more, instead of the winter coats that shroud them in the winter months. Here's Gusto in field on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Now for Fofana, out to Reece James, looking back towards the halfway line. Chelsea, under a little bit of pressure, do have to turn it into their own half, but all at relative ease. Yeah,
very comfortable for them at the moment. Burnley just trying to be disciplined in their shape. They have now dropped into more of a back five, but I think it's a little bit fluid, bit of a task.
Palmer just trying to thigh it away, and Palmer's created space in the box, takes the low shot on, sliding interception, sends it behind for a corner off Kyle Walker. Again, just with a little simple touch or two, Chelsea create a huge pocket of space and now have themselves a set piece.
Yeah, and it's just that change of tempo. It's just the ball around the corner, lovely combination play. Palmer probably does well to ride the tackle. We just know how composed and good he is when he's got the ball at his feet. So difficult to get it back off him. Just works an angle for a shot. It's good effort and brilliant tackle there from Kyle Walker.
Walker, who has played Chelsea more than any other opponent now in the Premier League. This is meeting number 32 for him. 13 wins, 10 defeats, 8 draws in his time. He's just prevented Chelsea going 2-0 up here as the corner is swung in, headed away by Fleming, back out towards the corner taker of Reece James, who tried a little sprint to keep it in play but couldn't, so it is a Chelsea throw-in instead. Palmer on the left corner of the penalty area now has the ball, back out to the touchline for Gusto. A half-hearted step over from Malo Gusto, Chelsea's 22-year-old French left back today. He can play right back. No Marc Cucurella, out with an injury for the time being. And now it's Pedro Neto on the right hand side for Chelsea, in between the box and touchline. His shaved sides of his head hooked away by Hannibal. Ball bounces up towards the halfway line in front of Liam Rosenior, and it must have taken a nick off a Chelsea man, because Burnley have themselves a throw-in. Wigan Athletic back in front in League One. Lively start at Edgeley Park. Stockport County 1, Wigan Athletic 2 in League One. Northampton behind at home to Leyton Orient. Oldham Athletic, who've had a bad run of form of late, 1-0 up away at Gillingham. Luton have gone 1 up on Burton Albion, who took West Ham to extra time last weekend in the FA Cup. Naki Wells has got the goal there. So that keeps you up to date on 5 Sports Extra 2. We watch with what's going on around the country. Free kick given on the byline. Gusto pushed over, so Chelsea have a free kick very deep inside their own half.
Yeah, I just felt that was an opportunity to get in behind, and it was Laurent who chose to just head the ball on. I think he could have taken it down. Brilliant switch of play from Burnley, and then in the end Edwards sort of runs into the back of Gusto. I think there's not much in that, but we know nowadays you do that and it's just always going to be a foul, and it always feels like a let-off when you're the attacking team to give that up.
Burnley, who are behind for the 21st time in the Premier League this season, trailing Chelsea by a goal to 0. They've just won one of those 20 matches when conceding first, drawing 4, losing 15. Chelsea have won 10 of the 15 matches when they have scored first, drawing 2, losing 3. That said, no team has dropped more points at home from winning positions in the Premier League than Chelsea. 15 points they've dropped here this season. Only twice before they dropped more points at home in a single campaign. that record has improved under Liam Rosenior, who remains unbeaten in the Premier League at home as Chelsea manager. This is match number 6 for him in charge in the top flight this afternoon. And they have a throw-in right in front of the Chelsea manager with Reece James on the halfway line.
Yeah, and the game's just sort of quieting down. Chelsea just in a very comfortable position, but at 1-0, you know the game's always at a point where it can turn very quickly.
They will look for that second goal. They've already had chances to get it. That's for certain, as James just arcs a ball around the back of Moises Caicedo, who bent at the knees to lean backwards and let the ball swivel past him. Now it's worked out towards the left-hand side. Quarter of an hour played. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Andre Santos, who has started 8 of the 9 games prior to today, can make that 9 in 10 now under Liam Rosenior, having started just 8 of his previous 16 appearances before that under Maresca. Certainly knows Rosenior from his time at Strasbourg when he was on loan. Here's Fernandes, left corner of the penalty area, stopped from entering that by Marcus Edwards. Cross comes in from the left-hand side, diving header away. Caicedo encouraged to shoot from some considerable range. Now James, right-hand side, whip ball in, a step, stretches, sends it behind for yet another Chelsea corner.
Yeah, and brilliant from Reece James. Great little touch out his feet, whips the ball in, and in the end, Steve deals with it well, but has to concede the corner just on the stretch at the near post.
So jogging over lightly, with no urgency, is Enzo Fernandez, who scored in the reverse at Turf Moor, that 2-0 win, without an assist until today in his last 8 games, but he'll have one for the goal that Chelsea lead by now, looking to get another to his collection this afternoon. Busy and lots of movement in that 6-yard box. Fernandes sends it right on top of Dubravka. There is a Burnley head in there. It comes to Caicedo, who whips it back out to Pedro Neto now. On the right-hand side, Neto, Palmer, 25 yards out. He will go for the shot. Esteve with a diving header sends the ball looping up and behind for Chelsea's second corner in quick succession. Burnley box under a lot of pressure. Yeah,
brave head. I mean, brilliant from the set piece as well. I think Zian Fleming deals with the first ball, comes out, do well. Chelsea do well to wait for the opportunity. Cole Palmer with a strike, brave header from Esteve to clear the danger.
Solid defender in a miserable season at the back for Burnley. In goes Pedro Neto's corner from the near side again, right onto the goal line, headed away. Dubravka let one of his teammates head that away. Palmer is first to the loose ball that just goes beyond the stretch of Andre Santos, but Enzo Fernandez is there as the second option, whether Palmer intended it or not. Caicedo inside the centre circle, played 17 minutes, Chelsea leading Burnley by a goal to 0, and within 5 yards of each other. 2 or 3 Chelsea players just happy to tap it around between themselves.
Yeah, and I just think, you know, if you're a Chelsea player right now, it's been so comfortable, and I don't really see how Burnley, you know, don't concede more chances in the shape that they're currently in. I think asking too much, certain players in certain areas, and they're just looking a little passive, and I think that's the system probably more than anything. Defence is
on the retreat again with Gusto, who's just laid the ball back now in the middle of the pitch for Caicedo. Oldham 2-0 up on Gillingham. Notts County have taken the lead against Tranmere Rovers as well. That goal coming in League 2. We'll try and keep you up to date best we can this afternoon. Birmingham City have got a second away at Norwich. Marvin Dukes has got the goal. 2 inside 14 minutes for Chris Davis's side. 18 minutes played here. Chelsea well in control and most desperately in search of a second goal as well. Give themselves real daylight. Burnley will go for the long ball and try and find a route through to Chelsea that way, but it's going to be, you've got a feeling, a very long afternoon for Zian Fleming, Burnley's number 19 up front.
Yeah, and do you know what, he's actually had a good game so far, but the problem is so much of the job he's been asked to do is defend the central area, the middle of the pitch. He's been up against Caicedo for much of it.
And Chelsea have played themselves into a little bit of danger, trying to get out of the back of their own penalty area. It has invited Burnley to win the ball back midway inside the Chelsea half, but as they build towards the 18-yard box, Chelsea are able to break away. Pedro Neto, left-hand side, has Fernandes infield as a supporting option if he wants, but Neto will keep jogging towards the penalty area. Kyle Walker goes with him. Now here's Neto again. Gusto. Fernandes. Gusto with the ball dead at his feet. Bright yellow boots on. He just doesn't have to move. He's waiting for a Burnley press before he has to make a decision, and it's so lax from Burnley that they're walking this game at the moment.
Yeah, and some of the argument may be, moments like this when Chelsea have possession in the middle of the pitch is they're in comfortable shape. They've got the back five, they've got the two in front, and then they're nice and compact with it. The three strikers are really narrow. They're saying you're going to have to go round the sides. But even just looking at Caicedo's had almost 40 touches and we're only 18-19 minutes into the game. That's just allowing some players who can be really influential in the game to just get so comfortable, and you'd imagine the longer Burnley do this without the ball, the demands physically will just get tougher.
At half time in the Six Nations, England 7, Ireland 22. That's over on 5 Live right now. Here's Enzo Fernandez, Reece James right hand side, 25 yards or so from the Burnley goal. Now Palmer, 2 onto him straight away in the form of Fleming and Hannibal, who was one of the goal scorers in that comeback win last time Burnley were in the capital. 2-0 down against Crystal Palace, so maybe we shouldn't discredit them just yet. 20 minutes played here. Enzo Fernandez allowed a turn on the ball, 180. Palmer tries to trick his way into the penalty area. Stev in the way. Anthony tries to play it calmly to Fleming and can't. Chelsea, whereas Burnley aren't pressing so intensely, Chelsea are.
Yeah, great pressure from Chelsea, but it's much easier for Chelsea to do that because when they have the ball, again they're back in possession. This is when they can breathe in certain areas. So the likes of the players underneath the ball who are responsible for that counter press, they're ready to jump. And as Burnley win it back, they don't have a target to really aim for, and it's so easy for Chelsea to just get round it again.
And they will try again with Malo Gusto through to Pedro, who's seemingly hampered by Esteve on the edge of the D. Claims he couldn't have the freedom to move as much as he wanted. Burnley have since won a free kick slightly further forward, 10 yards further up the pitch, but João Pedro back to goal, seemingly hampered there, but referee Lewis Smith not interested.
Yeah, he's held on to it. I think just the experienced centre-back play. See there, Joe Worrell just get the arms around his waist, doesn't let him go and get the ball after his first touch, and then draws the foul himself.
Wrexham, who failed to win in their last 3 at home in the Championship, are level with Ipswich equalising. Wrexham 1, Ipswich 1. Anis Mehmeti's got the goal in the Championship. 2 sides that will have an eye on promotion this season for certain. So 1-1 there, 1-0 Chelsea here as we almost hit the midway point of the first half. Chelsea have lost just 1 of 19 Premier League games against Burnley. It's when they went down 3-2 at home on the opening weekend of the 2017-18 season. 7 of the 8 points that Burnley have collected against Chelsea, though, in the Premier League have come at this very ground. They usually fare better away than they do at home. In fact, it's the highest percentage of points won away from one team against another when Premier League teams have faced off more than 10 times. So they will retain their hope, but there is very little evidence inside the first half of the first half that record might improve for Burnley.
Yeah, it's a tough ask, but at 1-0 they do stay in the game. It's just that the demands that not having the ball may take as the game wears on, you'd expect little gaps to appear.
Kyle Walker chest down the long ball forward from Chelsea. João Pedro will challenge him, muscle him off the ball, and that is going to be a free kick to Burnley. Referee's just had a look over to the official on this near side. Offside given against João Pedro. So a free kick to Burnley. So there's perhaps the embarrassment of Kyle Walker being muscled off by João Pedro there. Caicedo takes it on the chest on the halfway line. There are big appeals of handball there from Ian Fleming and Hannibal. Both managers pretty calm on the touchline. Scott Parker didn't appeal too much of that incident just a moment ago. Arms folded now in his black jeans and his quilted jacket. Fofana and Santos back to Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper, who tried to play it out to the left back position, looking for Trevor Chalobah. Just about got away with any embarrassment. Burnley had to work to win the ball back, which they have. Now Chukwu, who signed for £23 million in the summer from Chelsea to join Scott Parker's side. Got an assist in the 3-2 win over Crystal Palace 10 days ago. And Burnley have retained the possession. They've had to go back into their own half to do so, but it's better from Burnley. And now here's Hannibal, low ball, flat down the middle, flicked on by Fleming. Anthony might be offside, flag goes up instantly. Yeah,
but nice play, really good from Hannibal, who just comes out to this near left hand side right in front of us and just gives Caicedo a question mark because he knows Fleming's coming to the ball of feet as well. He chooses to stay central, which you'd imagine he would do. Lets Hannibal get faced up, and then the ball inside. Yeah, Jadon Anthony just goes too early. but nice play from Burnley.
Yeah, certainly their best spell of the game so far. Nearly 25 minutes played. Chelsea 1-0 up here over on 5 Sports Extra. No goals in the other 2 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. Aston Villa taking on Leeds. You can hear commentary of that on 5 Sports Extra. Brentford against Brighton is the other match, kicking off at 3 o'clock. We'll also try and keep an eye on the Scottish Premiership, where Hearts are taking on Falkirk this afternoon as well. No goals in that game either, as Josh Laurent needs a throw in on the halfway line. Good use of his body there, battling with gusto. Burnley again just running, I guess it's one of those tactics that for as long as they can keep the ball in their possession, whether it's wasting time with a throw in, a free kick, a goal kick, it's just less time that Chelsea can damage them at the other end. But they should grow in confidence in perhaps what they've managed in the last 90 seconds, 2 minutes or so. Yeah,
and they've sort of stemmed that flow of dominant Chelsea possession and opportunities inside their own half. Good play again, building out from the goalkeeper, switching it left to right.
Fleming has made the run, but the cross from Laurent on the right hand side hits Gusto just 5 yards away from him, so doesn't threaten the Chelsea penalty area. Josh Laurent, one of the 2 that remain from that defeat to Mansfield. Scott Parker's team selection, Maxime Esteve the other. Suffered relegation twice in his career. Josh Laurent looks like he's on for a 3rd time with the points gap that Burnley have to recover at the moment. Relegated with Wigan in 2017 from the Championship, relegated in 2018 with Bury from League One. Cross comes in early from Burnley, far too close to Sanchez. Nobody in a claret shirt even going to challenge the Chelsea goalkeeper. The nearest 4 players to him were his own men. So poor an opportunity. So many players forward, they think we're doing the long throw, they don't, they go short. Then you've got the chance to really whip a ball in. You've got all the centre backs are all forward. You think, can you ask a few questions, and just launches it straight to the keeper's hands. Sanchez away from his own penalty area. Reece James towers for a header, really wins it, and then it's João Pedro's turn. Ball flies up into the air. Cole Palmer will cause problems on the bounce. Maxime Esteve nearly headed it back to his own goalkeeper with very little power to invite Palmer in. Eventually he gets it away, and Reece James will have a throw in for Chelsea midway inside his own half on this near side there right. Yeah, good from Chelsea, willing to be competitive, balls in the air. You know, we're talking about them being so good with the ball at their feet, but 2 big challenges, firstly from Reece James, then João Pedro. James has space, right hand side. Humphreys will be the first to him, but James able to get the cross in, and Pedro Neto was arriving. It was sent in with quite a bit of pace on that ball. Neto coming in at the back post, couldn't connect with it. Burnley throw it far side. Yeah, it's actually a really good defending at the back post from Josh Laurent. He can't get there ahead of Neto, but he just makes sure his body's nice and close as the ball fizzes across. He just leans into him to make sure the ball just sails over Neto's head. Do you know, that ball dips, doesn't it, just as it arrives, but it dips wicked. Too late for Pedro Neto to arrive. It does, and it's hit with a lot of pace. I think that's also as well difficult for Neto to judge. He's in nice and quickly at the back post, but almost then doesn't allow him to adjust the run. Burnley try and go long with a clearance from their goalkeeper Martin de Brouwer, who's still going to have to wait for 50 Premier League clean sheets. They haven't kept one on the road all season, Burnley, as he closes in on 200 Premier League appearances, does their now 37-year-old Slovakian goalkeeper Martin de Brouwer. Right-footed, long ball from him in his musty green, light green goalkeeper number this afternoon. Robert Sanchez at the other end, cladded all in black. Linesman's flag goes up on the far side. That will give Burnley a free kick, 20 yards or so inside the Chelsea half. Yeah, and good once again is de Brouwer. Some people see that as a long ball, but Zian Fleming does well enough to just back into Chalobah so that the ball drops at his feet, which makes it really awkward for Chalobah. The only way to win it is to come right through the back. Then you've got players around it to get the second ball, and in the end a bit of a soft foul, an accidental one there. I think Chalobah just trips. I think it was Edwards, might have been Laurent. Jadon Anthony over this free kick. Trevor Chalobah, who's one of 5 Chelsea players this week to receive a Premier League milestone medal for hitting 100 appearances, something he actually did in December, but they finally got round to presenting it this week. Palmer, Garnacho, Fernandes, João Pedro all got theirs as well. 3 of those on the pitch. As Burnley sent the free kick in, Sanchez made the early claim, and once again there is absolutely no pressure on Robert Sanchez. The only danger is he seems to have clattered Andre Santos, has he, in the build-up to catching that ball in the air. It's just another poor delivery though, because he's always
the keeper always is favourite to that, because it's not coming through bodies, it's very clearly overhit. And to launch the ball and just, it's like keeper practice, it's like what you see in the warm-up.
If you're a defender, if you're a Stev, if you're, you know, Joe Worrell, Josh Laurent, who makes their way up, you know, the other end of the pitch for an opportunity, and you deliver a ball like that, you've got to be so angry.
Yeah, but it's the fact they've done it 2 or 3 times now, and you just think, what an opportunity to go and ask a few questions and test Chelsea in the box. We're just seeing a foul in front of us now on the outside of the Chelsea box, trying to play out from pressure. It's Caicedo that just gets caught. Hannibal nice and keen, trying to intercept the ball, and as he reaches in, he does just catch Caicedo a little late. It's not malicious or high, it's a little bit of a sore, nasty one on top of the ankle.
And he's been booked for it, as Hannibal. Only his 6th Premier League start of the season, his 13th appearance in total. A 1-0 Chelsea, half an hour played, 5 Sports Extra 2 live from Stamford Bridge. Shed end away to our left-hand side. The large, brightly blue painted brickwork separates that from the tall stand on the far side, and some of the directors' boxes are. Brighton have scored away at Brentford, so Brentford 0, Brighton 1. It's the first goal Brighton scored in their last couple of games. They'd had a couple of blanks recently, but they've gone 1-0 up at the GTEC Stadium, not too far away from here in West London. Now Caicedo inside the centre circle. Still Aston Villa 0, Leeds 0. James takes it in from the right-hand touchline, just guided to him nonchalantly off the touch of Enzo Fernandez to get the ball on the floor, allows James to keep cutting infield. Santos there ahead of Neto. He tried a little piece of skill that didn't come off, and Burnley are able to win the ball back. And send it up towards the halfway line, out towards this near side for Anthony to put some real pressure on Wesley Fofana, who manages it well. And just a simple layoff back to Robert Sanchez, who, a little bit of indecisiveness, just allowed Zian Fleming to close him down, perhaps a little bit more hurriedly than he would have wanted to. Bashir Humphreys, wise to what's going on in front of him and around him, he's just able to turn back into his own half, make sure the pressure's relieved off him, keeps Burnley on the ball, but then as they play it to the halfway line, it's picked off by Caicedo behind Hannibal. Here is Caicedo, left-hand side of the field, back heel, too casual, allows Josh Laurent to intercept the ball. Malo Gusto did try to get there first, but it was all a little bit of cocksure from Caicedo maybe. Here's Hannibal, surrounded by 3 Chelsea players, all trying to race him around the back of him. Does feed the ball out to the right-hand side and has played a lovely ball in the middle, and suddenly it's 3-on-3 here. Fleming, heavy touch, invites Chalobah to nick it away. He just bounced off the shins of Zian Fleming and breaks down the Burnley counter-attack.
I don't know why Jadon Anthony played it, because when you think about technical players and who's great running with the ball, he's the one. And Zian Fleming sort of moving off the backside of Chalobah, almost just occupying the player. If I'm Anthony, I think keep going with that. The pass sort of hadn't really quite opened up, and I'm not sure Zian Fleming really wanted it there.
Hannibal, good run from him, carried the ball 30 yards, and then he's tripped as he takes a sidestep to his right-hand side by Wesley Fofana. Free kick to Chelsea, yellow card to Fofana, and a free kick to Burnley here. At best 25 yards from goal, pretty central position, good opportunity this.
Huge opportunity, and I mean Burnley have really come into it. The last 10 minutes by far the better team, composed in the ball, creating opportunities, great switches of play. Hannibal's been in the thick of a lot, driving right down the centre there.
Leeds, who haven't had a win against Aston Villa in their last 6 games, are 1-0 up at Villa Park. Leeds are on a revival and a half. Aston Villa 0, Leeds 1. Anton Stack has got the goal. So there are away wins currently in the Premier League for Leeds and for Brighton. Can Burnley join the party of away goals and at least get themselves level against Chelsea? Trailing by a goal to 0, 11 minutes to half time. This is a free kick, very central. Zian Fleming is interested in this, as is Marcus Edwards. Both stand perpendicular to the ball, hands on hips, in conversation as to what they might try. It is a long barricade in their way, a mix of Chelsea players, 4 or 5 in a row, and then Burnley players either side of that as well. Robert Sanchez has got a little bit of an organisational job to do here. Is it going to be the right of Edwards, sorry, the right of Fleming, or the left of Edwards is the question. from this free kick. Most importantly for Burnley, it's getting up and over the wall. Hannibal is just asking the referee here to hold the play and check the 10 yards. He feels that Chelsea have rubbed out the spray foam that he puts down and inched their way forward, and they can see their little feet shuffling.
They're
step
still
by step.
inching.
Maybe 10 yards is more 9.5 at the moment. Kyle Walker goes to stand in the way of what is a 4-player Chelsea wall. In it goes, poorly, around the wall. It was Marcus Edwards to strike, in fact through the wall, isn't it? But wide of the right hand post. Goal kick, 1-0 Chelsea.
Yes, tame in the end. You can see Robert Sanchez is not happy because it does come right through the wall. It goes between Gusto and Chalobah, I think, or João Pedro and Chalobah. That shouldn't really happen. A better effort could have certainly caused more problems there.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? If it does find the bottom right corner of the goal, it's going in because Sanchez is flat-footed, but he didn't have to worry about that. It was not on target. Chelsea still lead then by a 0-0. Chelsea just 1 point off the top 4 before the weekend began. Manchester United played Monday night away at Everton. That won't be an easy game. David Moyes against his former side, of course. Hannibal has it midway inside the Burnley half. The claret shirts are right to left in the remaining 10 minutes or so of this first half. A little push in the back of Josh Laurent. Seemed soft, but the referee was able to give it. It is an elbow into the back of Laurent from Neto. Free kick Burnley.
Yeah, and soft, but I think is a foul. Just a little bit of a heavy lean, and I thought initially it wasn't going to be given because linesman on the far side's flag didn't go up. But I think Laurent does really well. He cuts across Pedro Neto, and that just initiates the contact. Another chance here. Please don't send this into Sanchez's hands.
Well, this is it, isn't it? The set pieces so far from Burnley have been poor, and this is where they're going to see their opportunity for goals. So take it whilst you've got it, because this is what, at least 3 or 4 now that they've had.
Yeah, in a very similar area.
Out wide right, a yard in if that from the touchline. Short free kick from Anthony, played back to Kyle Walker, right-footed then, drifting ball hooked up towards the rear of the penalty area from which it came from, looking for the knockdown header from Joe Worrell. It is dealt with by Chelsea and away to the halfway line, and it's poor control from Kyle Walker, and Palmer is round the back of him. Palmer shoots straight at Dubravka, who makes the save. Well, he was never in the most comfortable of positions, Cole Palmer. He knew that Kyle Walker would try and eat the yards up, but he took the shot early and Dubravka smothered the ball.
Yeah, it's a good save, but I think he's past Kyle Walker. He takes his touch across him, he wants it back in his left foot, and that touch across him, he's got the pace to get in front of Kyle Walker. All Kyle Walker can do is foul him, which he thinks about doing, and he knows if he does that it's going to be a red card. He lets him go, and I think Cole Palmer could have maybe gone a little closer, but Dubravka does well, made the save.
4 goals in his last 2 games. Cole Palmer, the hat-trick against Wolves, 2 of them were penalties. The 2-2 draw with Leeds, one of those is a penalty. Josh Windass has put Wrexham, who have failed to win their last 3 at home, 2-1 up against Ipswich Town as Chelsea try and emerge with the ball, and they have. There are appeals from Humphreys that he was fouled by James. Goodness me. There's thinking time for referees, then there's allowing James to get halfway up the pitch before stalling the Chelsea run and giving Burnley the free kick.
Yeah, I just wonder, his hand right in front of us, and I wonder if the 4th official perhaps had the best view. I don't think it was a foul. I think James wins the ball there. He comes sort of round the side, gets his toe in the ball, and then he's away. In the end, it seemed like an incredible amount of time. Just getting replay in front of us. Well, maybe there is contact on Humphreys, as James does just put his toe in the ball. Just in the... It's
kind of
soft.
Kicks the underside of the boot, doesn't he, James? He's going through the Burnley player's legs from behind. It probably borderline free kick, but it was just the length of time it took. We have 6 minutes to half time here. Chelsea leading 1-0. Another Burnley free kick. Chelsea fans just getting a little agitated at the stop-start nature of the game.
Yeah, just a few decisions going against them. I think rightly so, but the home crowd will never be on the referee's side when that's the case. And just their team haven't probably in the last 5-10 or so minutes really controlled the game, and that will concern some of the fans because they know it's been a little bit leaky at the back at times, and they probably suspect there may be a chance coming for Burnley.
Well, they've had half chances at best. Bernie Scott Parker was talking about how against Mansfield they lacked real quality in the final stages. That's where it can be really critical, were his words. He's not wrong. Burnley just haven't been devastating enough in front of goal, not only in this game but story of their season as well. On a mild day in West London, None of the flags are flapping. The corner flags sat down by the poles. As Burnley now, lovely reverse pass, right hand side, low ball in towards Anthony, skips past him and put behind by James for a corner. That was better from Burnley, that's more like it. And now they've got the set piece opportunity again.
Brilliant play down that right hand side. It's a great ball at the box. Ian Fleming is involved in the first contact, so he's trying his best to get his way back into the box. Just can't quite get there in time to be in a position to put that in.
Colchester 1-0 up on Barnet in League Two. In goes the Burnley corner, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Will drop for Hannibal. Tees himself up for the half-volley dipping shot straight at Sanchez. A little bit more direction on that across goal. It might have caused the Chelsea goalkeeper a bit of bother, but he saw it well, caught it well.
He did. Tricky effort as well. I think Hannibal wanted it on the first time, took a touch. It wasn't the best touch to set himself up. It was still bouncing fairly high, but he does catch it well. Difficult angle though from there.
Bristol Rovers have had their deficit, their lead halved rather. Bristol Rovers 2, Grimsby Town 1. Andy Cook's got the goal there. Port Vale 0, Reading 1 in League 1. Lewis Wing from the penalty spot has them a goal to the good. Chelsea a goal to the good here with 5 minutes left of the first half on 5 Sports Extra 2. Reminder, Aston Villa 0, Leeds 1 is over on Sports Extra for now, and they're underway in the second half at Twickenham. England Ireland in the Six Nations. Ball towards Gusto, half a stretch from him. Ball played in from the left hand side, goes behind for a goal kick. Gusto was the only Chelsea player attacking it, but he couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, and great play there from just Palmer and Fernandez. Good little bit of combination play. Fernandez one seated back in his right foot, and that probably makes the ball from the left hand side a bit tricky.
We get a replay of Cole Palmer charging in on Dubravka, skipped across Kyle Walker, took the shot on the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, and you'd fancy him from there. I think the touch just before he shoots, he probably ideally wants that another yard or two ahead of him, so when he goes to take the strike with his left foot, he can really sweep it and get the bend on it, so it's almost outside the post before it comes back round. In the end, it just neatly comes into Dubravka's reach.
England 14, Ireland 29. Latest score as the second half gets underway in the Six Nations. Stockport County have levelled, so it's 2-2 at home to Wigan Athletic in League One. County have lost just one of their last 9 against the Latics. Chelsea going for their own second goal. 3 minutes to the break. Here's Neto, lays it off to Palmer. Palmer trying to work his way through 2 or 3 Burnley players. Zuckerchukwu and Kyle Walker have him cut off. Ball comes to Enzo Fernandez. Doesn't look into the 18-yard box, instead retreats. Gusto. Fofana's in there as well. Now Chelsea in possession with Andre Santos. Gusto possibly down the left-hand side, an option here for Pedro Neto. Didn't use him at first. Realised as he moved infield that maybe that was the best option, so does now go out to Gusto. Here's Caicedo. Throw this man back for Chelsea at the moment, just allowing even the central defenders to push further forward. Palmer's got his back to goal, plays a couple of 1-2s with Andre Santos midway inside the Burnley half. Chelsea in blue shirts and socks are from left to right in the first half. I said shorts and socks there, didn't I? I meant shirts and shorts. Confusing. White socks from Chelsea, of which Palmer is sprinting forward now, left hand side of the penalty area, tries to once again get round the back of Kyle Walker, retreats, uses Fernandez. Palmer with the back heel. Neto will have to slide to keep that in, he can't. Burnley throwing level with their own penalty area on the far side there, right.
Yeah, just a rare stray touch there from Cole Palmer, but what wonderful feet just moments before it. You think as he goes into the box, there's 3 players around him that you can't understand how you can go into that area with pace with the ball at your feet and still come out with it. He manages it time and time again.
Well, with Cardiff being hammered earlier by 5-2 away at Plymouth, Lincoln had the opportunity to close the gap at the top of League One to just a point. They are in front against Mansfield Town by a 0-0. Robert Street's penalty. Talking of penalties, Dundee have scored one against Aberdeen. It's 1-1 in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen down to 10. Second yellow for Liam Morrison in the build-up to that penalty. We have a minute of normal time remaining, and Jaden Anthony fancies pace up against Malo Gusto here. Chalobah on the stretch, so calm and composed. He made it look so easy. Sticks out a leg, wins the ball back as Chelsea nearly invite Burnley to intercept the ball of their own. Sanchez has it at the back. Caicedo, not sure how aware Sanchez was of Marcus Edwards' proximity to Caicedo there, but Chelsea have played it away. Pedro Neto flicks it up towards the halfway line. Joe Worrell and into the control of Reece James.
Yeah, it's just a little untidy at the moment. Ball, no one really getting their foot in the ball. Santos now can just calmly in the middle of the park just put his foot on top of the ball and settle things down.
Such a composed challenge from Chalobah a moment ago.
Yeah, brilliant.
Pleasure to see.
His Gusto was in a little bit of bother. Great first touch from Anthony, just whips it round the corner. His pace takes him past Gusto. He's got good pace himself. Chalobah was there to sweep things up.
So the 45 minutes are up, and we will have 2 more to play added time. Chelsea's goal, the celebrations, and a little VAR check in the aftermath of João Pedro's bundled effort. Sanchez again needs to be careful. He's almost too relaxed, the Chelsea goalkeeper, as he played it on the edge of his own penalty area. What they have done though, Chelsea's turned defence into attack. And Fofana carried it forward past the halfway line. He's since had to hold back, and now it's Enzo Fernandez almost on the centre spot. Little stroke from the right boot to the right hand side of the centre circle. Now Reece James. Got a Chelsea analyst make their way down for the half-time team talk. Liam Rosenior and Scott Parker will deliver to their teams in a moment. Here's Fofana just weaving into the centre of the pitch from the right hand side. Played over the top but not close enough to Reece James, and Martin Dubravka can let that bounce behind. It will be a goal kick to Burnley.
Yeah, and it's become really difficult for Chelsea. Burnley have sort of worked their way into the game. Their shape's really good on behind the ball. Jocelyn on fills in and becomes that right wing back, a right fifth defender as such. When they have possession, he goes into a high and wide position, and it's Edwards that tucks in and fills that number 10 role. But without it, they've got the back 5, and it's hard for Chelsea. They've got to come up with something. Little combinations, neat balls can be difficult to break down.
So long clearance away by Dubravka under the grey skies, yet without rain in West London today. Many fans feel Chelsea should have enough to half-time, but Okachukwu is downed here, 10 yards inside the Chelsea half, right-hand side, gives them a free kick. This will be the last action of the opening 45 minutes. Can Burnley send themselves off into the tunnel with a real positive here?
Yeah, and they've done really well. Like I said, 3 or 4 situations now they've had a free kick in this right-hand side. Last one they almost worked something. This time it looks like Hannibal will be on top of the ball. Kyle Walker's inside. The pass they opted for last time.
Hearts 1, Falkirk 0 in the Scottish Premiership. That's the latest score right on half-time. Islam Chesnikov has scored. Brighton have doubled their lead in the Premier League against Brentford. Ball swung in by Burnley, not thoroughly dealt with by Chelsea, but Burnley play it back to the halfway line, and referee Lewis Smith blows his whistle to conclude the first half. Well, after the first 5 minutes, you're probably asking how many Chelsea have got. João Pedro bundling the ball over the line from a whipped cross in from Enzo Fernandez, well delivered and just about dispatched from the Chelsea forward. Martin Dubravka tried to save it, just couldn't stop it going off over the line. But Burnley have fought their way back into it. Yes, no real major chances, the odd half chance here or there, but they'll be quite happy that the scoreline at half time, Rachel, is only 1-0.
Yeah, especially conceding so early on, you did fear for them, but they've worked their way into the game. I think Fleming's done a brilliant job. Out of possession, he's been asked to do a lot, cover and provide help in the midfield area. In terms of the ball up to him, at times he's done really well, he's held it in. Chelsea after that goal, they just took their foot off the gas. Other than that little chance for Palmer, which really came from the mistakes from Kyle Walker, very unusual, a really poor mistake. Chelsea have struggled to create anything else clear cut, and the game's in the balance, I would say. Big half-time talk for both managers, because you'd think Chelsea will have to raise it, and they can raise it, they've got the quality to raise it. So Burnley will feel a little annoyed that they've not capitalised more on the chances they've had to send it into the Chelsea box.
And that's what I'm really intrigued by. We can be so lazy by saying, well, what's the half-time team talk from these managers, but I think this is really interesting because Liam Rosenior will clearly want more from his side, knowing how dominant they were certainly in the first 10-15 minutes of the game or so. Yet Scott Parker can offer a lot of praise to his side, but they need to be more clinical. Well,
exactly that, and I think sometimes the danger I always found, for me anyway, I often felt when I was having a fairly good game, I always benefited from the manager coming in and having quite a stern team talk, because you start going and think, oh, we're doing all right here, we're in the game, here we go. But you need to be ready to up the level as well, because you certainly know that Chelsea will go in, they might adjust a few things, they might ask different questions, so you've got to be right at it in the second half, and the game will change, there'll be different tests, there may be different personnel you'd expect as the game continues, there certainly will be. So it's sometimes a difficult one, A little praise. I think both managers may go in quite heavy though, and just really try and see if either side can lift the tempo and just create some more chances, because we've really not had very many at all.
Well, Burnley have scored 16 goals on the road this season. That is better than 9 other teams, so maybe there's hope for them yet. They lead Burnley by João Pedro's 4th minute goal to 0 at the break. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Aston Villa 0, Leeds United 1, and Brentford 0, Brighton 2. Danny Welbeck doubling Brighton's lead right on half-time there. For now, João Pedro's 4th minute goal has Chelsea into the top 4. Can they extend that in the second half? We'll find out. Me and Rachel will be back then. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0 at the break. Well, welcome back to Stamford Bridge for the second half, where Burnley have made a change, and Kyle Walker has been replaced by Lucas Pires, the 24-year-old Brazilian. Kyle Walker, who got himself into a little tangle with Cole Palmer during the first half. The ball bounced awkwardly and Palmer took the ball away from Walker and had a shot saved by Dubravka. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0 is the half-time score. But it's a first half that started like a train and ended with a bit of a whimper. So expect, hopefully, at some point, a little bit more injection from both sides. Mike Minor with you alongside the former Scotland international Rachel Corsie. Things can only get better for Burnley. For Chelsea, they'll want things to improve.
Yeah, and I actually think, just hearing some of the Chelsea fans around us, they're a little bit bemused by how that first half continued on. I think Burnley did well to get themselves back in the game. Plenty. Given
away. Pedro might try and latch onto it. He tries to sell Esteve one way, then the other, then the reverse pass for Palmer. Sliding in was Worrell, and it comes off Palmer last, behind for a goal kick. Palmer is down in a heap on the floor, rolling around in what seemingly is discomfort. I thought it was a well-timed challenge from Joe Worrell, Rachel Corsie.
I think so too. I think Palmer actually goes to shoot, so as Worrell actually gets his foot on the ball, it's Palmer's going sort of full strike through the ball, and I think just collides. It could be nasty. We're just getting a replay now. Pedro does really well to get onto that loose ball. Fortunately slipped from Burnley, and yeah, it's just the follow through of Worrell actually catches a standing leg of Cole Palmer as he goes to sweep it in, and it's just a nasty one. We're going to do the slow-mo thing. We just see Worrell kicks the ball clearly, Palmer's follow through brings him into Worrell, and his standing leg just awkwardly gets caught by the follow through of the studs of Worrell, and he's up on his feet.
No further action from the referee or VAR, and the good news for England in the World Cup year is that Cole Palmer is up and still moving, because he certainly looked like he took a heavy knock there. He's just the boots of the right leg of Joe Worrell through on Cole Palmer when sliding in, but Worrell wins the ball cleanly and fair first of all. There's nothing malicious in that for VAR to maybe think twice about either.
No, there will be some people maybe listening thinking we've seen that given us fouls when the follow through connects, but it's Worrell's foot's firmly on the ground, he's played the ball, and both players come together, so I think that instance is the right decision.
Sanchez away. I'll run you through the two teams in just a moment when we get a break in play. Burnley in their claret shirts, now on the ball with Maxime Esteve. They're left to right in the second half. Chelsea now attacking the shed end in blue shirts and shorts, the white socks to complete the outfit, as Edwards couldn't flick the ball around the corner. Santos was quick onto him. João Pedro pushes the ball through to Palmer. Palmer moves it to the right hand side for Reece James. Arcing ball in towards the head of Enzo Fernandez. Comes off Joe Worrell first, then bounces just outside the 18-yard box for Pedro Neto. Chelsea back towards their halfway line with gusto. Andre Santos and now Wesley Fofana.
Brilliant header from Joe Worrell there. Just experienced defender in the right place. Knows how difficult those balls can be to defend.
No side has fewer points in League Two on the road this season than Shrewsbury Town, but they're 2-0 up against Accrington Stanley now. They scored quickly in the first half. They've done so again in the second. Luca Houle has made it 2-0. Portsmouth have the lead against Millwall. Millwall have just lost one of their last 10 in the Championship, behind against Portsmouth, who are trying to strive away from the relegation zone of the Championship. Notts County have 2 against Tranmere in League 2, and Salford are down to 10. Red card for Luke Garbutt. Burnley having to do some defensive work with Esteve clearing the ball up towards Jaden Anthony. So Lucas Perez has got into the left back position, and it's Bashir Humphreys now filling in where Kyle Walker once was. Chelsea with Sanchez in goal, no change for them at the break. James Fofana, Chalobah and Gusto the back four. Santos and Caicedo in the holding roles of midfield. Palmer, Fernandez, Neto behind the goal scorer João Pedro for Burnley. De Bruyne is their goalkeeper. Laurent, Worrell and Esteve as the back three. It is then now Lucas Perez instead of Kyle Walker, Ugo Chukwu, Hannibal and Humphreys, with Edwards and Anthony behind Zian Fleming, who has had a stretch of the ball in the 6-yard box, but he's not really had a test of Robert Sanchez yet. Chelsea leading by a goal to nil, 4 minutes gone in the second half.
Yeah, and just the ball's largely been inside this attacking half for Chelsea, but again they're just finding it difficult to find the little areas, create the little combinations to get in behind Burnley. So far Burnley very resilient.
Little chill has just come around Stamford Bridge since the half-time break. I'm still refusing the winter coat yet, but it might make an appearance before the end of the 90 minutes. Scott Parker just wafts a left hand around, just telling one of his defenders, Maxime Esteve, just to edge slightly further back, even though Burnley have a throw 10 yards inside the Chelsea half, near side their right, of which Humphreys finds Worrell. Hannibal is told to send the ball forward over the top, which he eventually does, maybe not at the time that Joe Worrell was asking him to. Ball out of play now on this near side for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, and actually I think it's Laurent that's high up on this right hand side. He's going to play ahead of Humphreys, I think, and do that role where he did well in the first half, because it's tough to kind of go in between. You're going to be a wing back at some stages and then be a wing in another moment. He did it well, just miscontrolled it.
Chelsea switch the play from the near side left to the far side right, then it's sent forward into the path of Enzo Fernandez on the halfway line. He tries to return the favour, flicking it forward for Reece James. De Bruyne, initial heavy touch, swipes it out towards the left back position where Hannibal currently finds himself under pressure from Reece James, who's done well to win it back. This is Palmer in the box, Pedro, man behind him in Neto, but Pedro takes it alone, and it takes a deflection and over the bar for a Chelsea corner. Well, they were queuing up. Palmer had the space but wanted to lay it off to Pedro. Pedro had the option of Pedro Neto behind him, went for it alone. It's a corner kick.
Yeah, and I think he was always going to. Striker's always going to find a way to work that into a striking opportunity, but you just felt Hannibal when he was in the corner there. You always felt there was an element of danger looming, and I think Humphreys does really well just to hold João Pedro up, make it difficult.
Well, plenty of goals going in the Football League. We'll fill you in those in a moment. Chelsea go short with the corner. Palmer back to the midway point of the Burnley half now. Central position for Andre Santos. Ireland have beaten England by 42 points to 21 in the Six Nations. So commentary right now on 5 Live is that of Aston Villa Leeds, where Leeds are leading by a goal to nil through their Anton Stack goal midway through the first half. Chelsea here have a free kick right on the touchline, left hand side. Gusto fouled by Josh Laurent, who it's just a push, isn't it, to Gusto as they race towards the touchline to try and get to the ball first. It's a elbow in the upper part of the spine.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with that one, and it's careless really, because Gusto's going probably away from goal, going towards the corner flag, and now you'd think Chelsea, James may whip this, might be Neto, but you'd expect this one won't float into the hands of Dubravka, and Burnley will need to be organised.
Yeah, that idea of floating the ball to the goalkeeper's hands is exactly what Burnley did in the first half when trying to attack the Chelsea penalty area, as it was at this end. Away to our left hand side in the opening 45 minutes. Camera phones at the ready for some supporters trying to get an angle of this free kick, which James sends in. Referee has blown the whistle and James delivered. I think he's going to say Chelsea can retake this free kick.
And we just won't mention it's just flown right into the hands of Dubravka.
Fair point. Let's have a look. There was pushing and shoving going on. Zian Fleming feels he was rather forcibly pushed over in the penalty area by one of the many Chelsea players trying to bustle their way forward. So reset, go again. Reece James over this free kick, right-footed. It's going to end up in the same result, isn't it? Yeah, Dubravka on his goal line, catches it. It whipped in a little bit, but it was one that you backed the Slovakian catch all the way, and he did. And what he's done now is bowl the ball out towards the far side, and Lucas Pires can have a wander into the Chelsea half, 2 over to meet him. So he just retracts for now. Hannibal pointing at the ball on the floor, needing a little bit of support from his teammates. Jayden Anthony wasn't fouled, knocks the ball out for a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, and he should just pass that before he ends up in a situation where Reece James can get close enough to use his body to just put him under enough pressure. I mean, Jayden Anthony wanted the foul. It could have been given maybe, but I think just in those moments, just take your touch and find your teammate sooner, and just to avoid that possibility.
Lost all 4 of his previous games against Chelsea as Jayden Anthony. Scott Parker this week saying he's bright, he's talented, he just needs time to progress. Well, Burnley are running out of time to progress their way up the Premier League table. There will only be 12 other opportunities after today to recover what is a 9-point gap. If they can get a point from Stamford Bridge, it'll be well worth it. Nottingham Forest, who are 9 points away from Burnley in 17th, take on Liverpool tomorrow. That's your first commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live from 2 o'clock. West Ham Bournemouth on 5 Live from 5:30 this evening. I'm sure when Burnley are travelling back to Lancashire, they might have an eye on that result and hoping that Bournemouth can do them a favour. So I told you plenty of goals going in across the Football League. Leyton Orient 2-0 up away at Northampton Town in League One, same division, where Peterborough have been pulled back by Exeter 1 apiece. Here come Burnley down the right hand side. Laurent goes for an early cross that's hanging for Zian Fleming's knockdown header. Can't guide it into the path of Jayden Anthony, and seen away by Wesley Fofana from the edge of the Chelsea 6-yard box. Now an awkward bounce falls in Chelsea's favour, and Palmer tries to pull his way from Maxime Esteve. Neto to his left hand side, takes a touch, goes for the shot across goal. 2 Burnley players slide in, and it's behind for a Chelsea corner, one end to the other in the blink of an eye.
Well, absolutely, it's end to end. What a brilliant ball initially from Joshua Laurent. Zian Fleming does well at the back post, no one's there, and then Cole Palmer gets the ball in the middle of the pitch and goes all the way up the other end. Looked like there was going to be a great opportunity. Pedro Neto, a little bit too obvious though, and Burnley are able to get across, throwing bodies at it and do well to defend it.
Yeah, full-bodied, committed defending. Southampton 1-0 up on Charlton in the Championship. Cheltenham 1, Salford 1 from the penalty spot. They've equalised the home side. Ipswich Town now 3-2 up at Wrexham in the Championship. What else is going on? Portsmouth have got a second away at Millwall in the second tier. In goes the Chelsea corner into the middle of the 6-yard box. There's a foul in there as Fleming goes to ground, and that will be a Burnley free kick. Wimbledon lead Bradford City by 2-0. They'll have watched the leaders Cardiff lose at Plymouth earlier, Bradford, but haven't been able to make up any ground. Wimbledon 2, Bradford 0. Exeter City now back in front, 2-1 up away at Peterborough. Notts County 3, Tranmere Rovers 0. Change for Burnley is going to see James Ward-Prowse on for his second Premier League appearance for the club, and the former Chelsea man Leslie Ugachukwu, who's going to come off. Ugachukwu warmly received, a couple of Chelsea fans on their feet, but there is a warm applause from all sides of Stamford Bridge. That said, when Ward-Prowse steps onto the pitch, the light applause turns into a few boos for the former Southampton man. Did score a winner for Southampton on this ground, February 2023. In fact, the 18th of February, so little over 3 years ago. James Ward-Prowse won the game for Southampton here. These two actually met on this day, all the way back in 1959. Burnley won 3-1. It would be one hell of a half an hour if they turned it around from here.
It would be, but they're still in touching distance. A couple of half moments where you think, could this be something? It hasn't quite materialised just yet, but I do still feel that there is going to be a chance.
There's a free kick here to Chelsea. Zian Fleming's gone right in, probably not looking at the ball, and taking out Wesley Fofana inside the Chelsea half. So home side free kick, 57 minutes played. Chelsea leading this one by a goal to 0 on 5 Sports Extra 2. Over on 5 Live, reminder, it's Aston Villa against Leeds with updates of Brentford 0, Brighton 2. Chelsea have a throw-in midway inside the Burnley half, near side the left. João Pedro thought about taking it quickly, thought again and let Malo Gusto take control of the ball. Here's Andre Santos. Fofana just outside the centre circle. Chelsea with a strong record in the Premier League under Liam Rosenior, who let his team go to Dubai this week, encouraged them to go, relax and calm down after what has been a busy few weeks as his introduction as Chelsea boss.
How lovely. Bit of sunshine.
Waiting for the Five Live bosses to tell us we can go. Here's Neto. Gusto in space. It was always on the pass. Now the pullback of Palmer that escapes him as he tries to take the control. And Burnley are able to send it away from their penalty area. It'll only be temporary though. Ball with Reece James on the right hand side. Here is Palmer closing in on the right of the D, trying to manoeuvre himself into a position of either space or of a workable position to a teammate. He does neither. Burnley can't clear the ball properly though. Lovely step forward from Fofana. This is Palmer from 25 yards, thought about the shot, changed his mind, slides it into the path of Gusto 5 yards away from him, works it out now to James. This is building from Chelsea nicely, but the ball through to Enzo Fernandez closer to the byline. He's intercepted by Lucas Pires, who can only send it down the touchline and not out of play from the corner flag. Chelsea on the hour mark, leading by a goal to nil, are building here. Ball forward, stamped away by Esteve inside the D. Here's Hannibal, only has 2 players ahead of him and Chelsea are swarming him out and they win the ball back again. Here's Pedro, Gusto, come to Neto. All the O's combining, now it's Gusto, can he send in the cross? Oh, no he can't. Neto, down the left hand side. Burnley just keeping an eye on the ball and making sure the spaces and the passes forward aren't available. Here's Fernandez, just away from the right corner of the box. Chelsea right to left in this second half as we go past the hour mark, leading as they are by a goal to nil. Fans starting to get behind their team, but we want to see an end product for their efforts as well. Caicedo with James casually just knocking the ball diagonally in from the far side touchline. Here's Caicedo. Early from Fofana into the box, won't find Palmer. It'll be headed away by Esteve. A little bit scrappy this on the clearance. Caicedo can hook it up to the right corner of the 18-yard box for Fernandez. Now James, those two combining well, and Caicedo joins the party. Here's Fofana, a little bit of space in front of him of a 10-yard ring or so. Caicedo always moving about the pitches. Moises Caicedo, Chelsea's 24-year-old Ecuadorian. Neto in from the left-hand side. Now Santos. Chalobah. Lifted ball out towards the right-hand side. Well read by Lucas Pires, and that's knocked down with his head to Jadon Anthony, who can't return the favour. Chelsea back in possession. Rachel Corser.
Reece James did well there just to get back, but it's great discipline from Burnley. You have to say, Chelsea wanting the ball, trying to move it right to left, waiting for an opportunity, a little moment when Burnley switch off, but like I say, they don't, and they make it difficult. They'll only let Chelsea have come to a possession in certain areas. The next piece is, can they, just in those moments, Jadon Anthony giving the ball away, you've got to do your best to try and just find the little connections to then break that initial pressure from Chelsea that they do so well immediately after they lose it.
Northampton Town have one back, but they're 2-1 down at home to Leyton Orient as it stands in League One. We'll bring you all the latest goals as they go in. Robert Sanchez away, headed down by Maxime Esteve midway inside his own half. Lucas Pires to Jadon Anthony. It's a little push in the back, but it's all fair from Reece James, and Burnley's possession doesn't last long. And Chelsea have it on the halfway line. We're back in London tomorrow on 5 Live Sport. It's the North London derby. Tottenham taking on Arsenal in Igor Tudor's first game in charge of as Tottenham boss. He will have the job until the end of the season, and it's to take on the league leaders Arsenal, who've dropped 4 points in their last 2 games. And if Manchester City can win against Newcastle later tonight, the gap will be down to just 2 points. Offside given. Chelsea too casual and too much in control, and let them their own standards slip for a moment.
Yeah, and again, just real discipline from Burnley. Every opportunity squeezing the line, and that just caught Neto off guard. He hadn't really strayed offside, it was just the Burnley stepping up, just caught him.
I like boxing tonight on 5 Live as well. Lee Wood takes on Josh Warrington in Nottingham. That's where 5 Live Sport came from last night with Darren Fletcher and co. Cricket World Cup Action tomorrow on 5 Sports Extra, of course, with England taking on Sri Lanka as well. That means that Sunderland-Fulham will be on Sports Extra 2. And Sports Extra 3 will have Crystal Palace against Wolves. So the best thing to do is get the BBC Sounds app. Means if you've missed anything, you can always rewind, such as João Pedro's goal, which is the difference. After 4 minutes in this game, should be an easy one to find if you rewind. It happened at 4 minutes past 3. Peterborough United 2, Exeter City 3, latest score in League One. But what it does mean is you can get the dial, you can switch between the games, such as Aston Villa Leeds over on 5 Live right now. You could have had the rugby earlier as well. The brilliant Chris Jones and the team live from Twickenham, although a disappointing day for England that have probably seen their Six Nations chances edge away from them with that defeat to Ireland. Palmer, as Chelsea try and put the game beyond Burnley. Palmer gets it back on the return as well from Pedro. It might still come to João Pedro too, but he'll have no angle on the goal. Pedro gets the knock from behind, gives Lewis Smith something to think about. Burnley clear the ball temporarily. Here's Palmer shifting it, right foot, left foot, dancing on the ball almost, but Burnley again have got the bodies back. There'll be a real look at that little push in the back of Pedro Neto, who waited for the contact. I think that might be the only thing that goes against him when VAR is going to check. Ball out with Neto now on the left-hand side. Squares up against Laurent, whips the ball right across the 6-yard box, and Lucas Pires sees it behind for a corner. Yeah, and Pires had to see it behind. He wasn't sure. I don't think Reece James was going to get onto it. Probably the right decision. Earlier on, I agree with you, Mike. I think Neto just initiates the contact. Yeah, we're just getting a replay now in front of us. Definitely not a penalty. There's contact, but Neto's always looking for it. Yeah, and there's allowed to be contact. It's just body to, the chest onto the sort of the shoulder of Neto. That's needs to be a little more than that. So Chelsea corner, far side to right in front of the shed end. That corner of the ground where the Chelsea fans are. Burnley fans have the other corner of the shed end. It is sent into the 6-yard box. Goalkeeper Kane didn't get there, and João Pedro heads it over the bar. That was a dangerous ball in. 3-4 of them went for it. I'm pretty sure Pedro got the last touch. It will be a goal kick. Yeah, and it's a massive opportunity because Dubravka just gets himself tangled up in the wrestle with João Pedro, that when it actually lands, he's almost lost his footing, sort of slips inside the goal actually, which means he then can't actually reach above João Pedro to get his hand onto it, and in the end couldn't get it on target. He's on the chase again here, João Pedro. It's a big header forward. Worrell has it cut off, and Dubravka just delicately dinks it back out to the right hand side. If he got an angle wrong, if he got the touch wrong, then João Pedro would have been looking at his second of the game. What would have been his 7th goal in his last 9. He currently has 6 in his last 9 as it's hurried forward by James Ward-Prowse down the right hand side. Laurent's got the pace here, but 2 Chelsea players on him. The bounce was awkward. Back heel from Gusto almost invites Laurent to win the ball back. He goes to ground. Nothing given. Chelsea have worked it away, and now it's on the chest of Pedro Neto, who on the volley gives it a Cole Palmer. A steps across, sends it out for a throw-in on the far side. Yeah, it's become a really open game, hasn't it? And Josh Laurent there just doing brilliantly down this right hand side for Burnley. He almost runs by the ball. He's got the pace to go stride for side with Chalobah and Gusto, and then he runs past it. In the end, can't do anything with it, and then it's almost that catalogue of errors, and then almost Cole Palmer ends up getting the ball wide open. Heavy touch from him, which is rare to see again. Millwall, who are unbeaten in the last 12 at the Den, might be losing that record because it's Portsmouth have a third. Gusto, no look pass left of the penalty area, looking for Palmer. It deflects behind, goes for a corner. That was something different from Malo Gusto. Yeah, for me, he just tries to be too cute in the last moment. I understand the little reverse ball onto Cole Palmer is one that you'd think this is a great opportunity, but you could have played it along the face. I think João Pedro may have been offside if that had worked out, so probably right decision and well defended. Little flash of the camera from a fan behind the goal that Chelsea are aiming to score in as Reece James dinks it in near post on the corner, almost scoops it up with his right boot towards Malo Gusto. Burnley now break away with the ball. They're going to make a double change in a minute, but in the meantime there's a lot of work for Marcus Edwards to do. The Burnley number 10 tackled by the Chelsea number 10 on the halfway line. Good recovery work from Cole Palmer. Yeah, and I think in doing that he's just actually got caught in the back of the calf.
he opted to just pass the ball in square there instead of going forward, and he's just in front of us, probably in the left back position, just stretching his calf out. I think it was just a knock, but you hope he hasn't maybe felt something else there. He's not moving freely.
Jakob Brun-Larsen is preparing to come on, as is Florentino, with his dyed blonde hair, short in style. He's about to come onto the field for Burnley and Scott Parker in a moment. Liam Rosenior just a fraction out of his technical area, closer to the touchline than he should be, but hands in pockets, coat on, dripping down to mid-thigh length. Intercepted on the path of Santos by James Ward-Prowse. A little flick to his left-hand side, but Chelsea have the ball back as quick as that. Burnley's brief break was nothing more. Here's Gusto left-hand side, near side for Chelsea. We've played nearly 69 minutes and they're leading by a goal to nil. We're on the far side now with Reece James, just pushes the ball infield towards Enzo Fernandez. Now Palmer on the turn. Was he caught from behind by Zian Fleming? Not given. Palmer quickly, no hands, sends himself back upright. Chelsea win the ball midway inside the Burnley half though. Here's Pedro Neto left-hand side, sweeps it behind both Fernandez and Palmer. He has a little skip in the air in frustration. The ball didn't come to him. Now Reece James once more, closely marked by Lucas Pires. Caicedo on the turn, he'll have space to shoot, and he hits the legs of Joe Worrell. Ball ricochets away to the right hand side and behind for a corner. Yeah, and again, great instinct from Joe Worrell. He just covers the areas that he knows carry so much danger, and invariably today he's been in the right place at the right time, and that's because of his experience, his knowledge of the game, and just leaning into that. And again, another really important block. It is his fourth start of the season now, Joe Worrell. Back-to-back starts in the Premier League, having done so against Crystal Palace and now here against Chelsea. Charlton are level at St Mary's, Southampton 1, Charlton 1 in the Championship. Plenty more goals to tell you about in just a moment as well. We'll let this Chelsea corner happen from the left-hand side, and it goes, headed straight behind by Zian Fleming. So in the Ian Evatt derby, Bolton lead by a goal to nil. Strong home record this season at Bolton in League One. What else is happening? Wrexham have got an equaliser against Ipswich, 3-3 now that game. Two sides vying for promotion. Ipswich might be having a sniff at automatic promotion given their form. Another Chelsea corner from the far side, in swinging delivery, headed away by Burnley. Palmer then flicks it up, Gusto heads it down, back to the feet of Cole Palmer, 20 yards from goal, right of the D. Can Burnley break away with Jayden Anthony? Not through him, he's stalled, but it runs to James Ward-Prowse in the end. Lovely footwork from Lucas Pires to try and create some space, but Chelsea have just swarmed Burnley out. No, they haven't. They've done so unfairly. James Ward-Prowse was clipped, and that will be a free kick midway inside the Burnley half. And has the yellow card come out as well?
It's a red
card has been shown. Second yellow to Wesley Fofana, and Chelsea are down to 10 with 20 minutes left of this game.
Yeah, I didn't see the second yellow, I just saw the red come out, but I think you're right. I think it is just the second yellow for a late challenge, and it's almost one from a Burnley perspective that they almost needed the free kick, and yeah, he is late. He comes just and catches the ankle of Ward-Prowse after he plays the pass, which the pass itself was sloppy, it was loose, back towards the goal of Burnley. Chelsea were onto it, but for Fofana, he just catches him. The referee gives a foul, and I think if you give the foul there, the right decision is a yellow.
So Scott Parker's got his Burnley team in a huddle here, or at least half of them. Can they now, with Chelsea weakened, find a way to get an equaliser in this game? Confirmation, second yellow card, Wesley Fofana sent off. We're seeing it increasingly more, it seems, in the last couple of weeks, those kind of challenges where it's a stretch of the legs, the studs go on top of a player's boot, that digs the player's leg into the ground and causes almost the ankle to nearly double up on itself, which is always nasty and looks worse in slow motion. But you're right, a challenge like that is a yellow card offence. He was already on a booking, he was going to walk.
Yeah, and it's the sort of tackle you have to be really careful of when you're on a yellow card. You almost have to think, if this is a 50-50, I shouldn't go for it.
Ball in towards Ian Fleming, headed back by Reece James. Just looking down at the Chelsea bench for now. He's not moved as Liam Rosenior. A couple of players are warming up down on the touchline away to our left-hand side, but players just stopped again here, and I don't think anybody really knows why. They're saying that Sanchez held onto the ball for more than 8 seconds again. He did that in the first half and gave Burnley a corner.
I think that's the Burnley argument. I think what the referee's done is he's actually given a foul to Chelsea because he's saying that Zian Fleming was too close interfering with Sanchez releasing the ball, which seems a let-off for me because I don't think he actually was that close to Robert Sanchez.
Well, the Chelsea change is going to happen now that they're down to 10. It is a defensive move. Cole Palmer to a standing ovation. That long, lanky figure almost has a look across the bench in disbelief here that he's going off. He just waved his head. He now strokes his face with his hand. He has been bright for Chelsea throughout the game and in this second half. He'll get a standing ovation. Tosin is going to come on in his place.
Yeah, he doesn't look happy, but I think he had the same facial expression when he scored a hat-trick the other week. So I think he's a very calm character for the most part. I think he's probably walking off to understand, the scoreline's 1-0. There's 15-20 minutes to be played, and his team are now down to 10 players. So that slow walk may not necessarily mean that the added frustration of being subbed. Although he certainly is the sort of player that would have, if he feels good physically, would like to carry on. And he's just sitting on the bench. He's just going back to look at his calf, which I do think was just caught maybe 5-6 minutes ago in a tackle he made tracking back.
He has just rolled down his right sock, and the little bit of tape that was in place alongside his shin pads, Cole Palmer, so allowing those calves to breathe perhaps. Bolton weren't ahead for long. Blackpool have equalised 1-1. Hayden Coulson with the goal in League One. Aberdeen 2, Dundee 2 in the Scottish Premiership, and Huddersfield have turned it around against Barnsley. They now lead 2-1 at the John Smith Stadium in League One. So Burnley with the man advantage venture into the Chelsea half and are looking, with quarter of an hour to go, to get an equaliser. Ball with Hannibal. They turned it around against Crystal Palace. They owe their fans something, it would feel, after the defeat to Mansfield in the FA Cup last weekend. There is a little noise from the Burnley fans in the pocket away to our left hand side. They get both tiers. A little stretch, long way away for the East Lancashire side. Here's Esteve getting further forward than he has in this game. Now Pires, Esteve again, back to Hannibal with that afro bouncing with every step that he takes. James Ward-Prowse out to the right hand side where he'll find Bashir Humphreys. Takes a touch infield, left footed, bright pink boots on his feet. Uses Worrell. Hannibal, they're creeping forward here. Burnley, they will take their time to do so. Chelsea have to be set defensively now. Burnley enjoying more of the ball. Little dance left and right from Pires just outside the penalty area. Back to Hannibal, scoops it up towards the back post. It'll go over Laurent. It'll be cushioned down by Anthony, and there's Josh Laurent on the shot, and he didn't catch it well at all, and it just almost just rolls and not even flies up into the air. It just sits up in the air for a Robert Sanchez catch.
Oh, what a chance. And it's brilliant. Hannibal, big ball round the back post. Jane Anthony clearly shouts, right thing to do, just sets it back to Laurent, and he doesn't really, you have to give Enzo Fernandez credit. He gets back, but he doesn't connect.
Here's Laurent again, slides it on through for Marcus Edwards to wipe it across the right hand side of the box. Handball was the appeal, not given for now, as Chelsea try and clear it, but again heavy touch this time now from Enzo Fernandez. Laurent, right corner of the penalty area, he swept it across behind everybody, and it rolls out towards the far right hand side for Chelsea, where their acting right back is Pedro Neto. 13 minutes to go, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. Fan turned to us at half time, Rachel, and just said one word. He said boring. This second half's been far from it.
It's been lively with still not too many moments in either penalty box.
Salford back in front at Cheltenham. Cheltenham 1, Salford City 2, the latest score. Blackpool now in front away at Bolton, who have that strong home record. They've won 10 of their 13 home games this season, but they're losing to Blackpool now. Ian Evans' return to the Tough Sheet Community Stadium. Burnley cross in from the left hand side, doesn't even get in, it goes out of play, and the player who crossed it in runs in and over the advertising hoardings into the Chelsea fans packed tight behind it.
I think it's Pires, is it? Yeah.
Leeds 2, Strugglers Newport a goal behind against Cambridge now. Oldham have a third away at Gillingham, and Brun Larsen is on for Josh Laurent, who's just had a couple of bright moments there. But Scott Parker, once a Chelsea player, now the Burnley manager, has made a change and has put on Jakob Brun Larsen. He has faced Chelsea 3 times in his career. He's never won and never scored against them. Time to change that record.
Certainly not. I think what he does bring, he'll bring quality in terms of delivery in that final ball, and I do think there's been moments Burnley have got into good positions, and that's maybe been the piece that's missing. Josh Laron had a really good performance, I would have said. Big task for him down this right hand side. Did it really well both ways. Probably maybe just running out of legs in the end.
Edwards is going from range, always rising, no trouble at all on Sanchez's goal, way high of the net. So that will be a goal kick to Chelsea. The drama club, it never really escapes Wrexham much, does it? Wrexham 4, Ipswich 3 now in the Championship. Yeah. We could do with one of their goals here, I think. Chelsea are going to make another change as well. In fact, a double change on the way. Liam Delap is going to replace the difference maker at the minute in João Pedro. And Joel Hatto also coming onto the field of play. It is a warm applause, nothing special really for Malo Gusto. Joel Hatto on in his place. Liam Delap will step on as well, of course. The focus of Liam Delap being a striker is perhaps his lack of goals. 2 goals all season, only one of those in the Premier League. Liam Rosenior was asked about that pre-match. Said, of course, goals are a notable point for a striker, but Liam defends from the front amazingly well. And he's allowing him this season to bed in. He says if you look at many players, it is usually the second season that they take off. If he could get a goal here, it would give Chelsea, who are down to 10, clear breathing space. The score's still 1-0.
Yeah, and I think Liam Delap clearly has the attributes to become a really top striker. Already had good seasons under his belt at Hull and Ipswich, which we know. I know this is an extra step up, you'd have to say, coming to Chelsea and leading the line. I think in some ways you got to credit as well some of the players around him. I think João Pedro's had a really good season in terms of his goals and assists. You look at it in the wide players as well have contributed. So I think with his injuries as well, I think it's absolutely right to say let's not scrutinise those goal numbers too heavily just yet.
Got 3 assists in the win over Hull, in credit to Liam Delap, which is just 1 fewer goal involvement than he managed in his first 29 games for Chelsea. Burnley with Marcus Edwards, a little step to his right hand side into the penalty area, tries to feed in Brun Larsen. He can't. Chelsea get the interception and are able to get the ball away with 9 minutes to go. Chelsea 1, Burnley 0. We'll start to run you through the latest scores across all the divisions in just a moment. We'll start in the Scottish Premiership, where it's Aberdeen 2, Dundee 2, but Aberdeen are down to 10 in that game. Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 0. Hearts still lead Falkirk by a goal to 0. That will put them 5 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership. Rangers 5 behind with a game in hand. Celtic 6 behind with 2 games in hand in the Scottish Premiership. It is going to go down to the wire there. Can Hearts break the long time Glasgow duck? Chelsea have a free kick. Burnley are going to bring on Ashley Barnes, once of Chelsea, and also Loom Chowner in a moment. They're readied with their claret shirts on, white shorts and sky blue socks. Left to right in this second half are Burnley, trailing as they are by a goal to 0 on 5 Sports Extra 2. Zian Fleming trying to get round the back of Tosin and have a lovely foot race with him. He goes to ground, he appeals to the referee. He's got a little bit of cramp in the aftermath. Lewis Smith not interested at all, Rachel Corsie.
Yeah, you're probably not going to get that, I don't think. And maybe cramp in his calves was the real reason why he chose that little knock to send him to the ground.
Neto, far too easy around a step, in towards Liam Delap, just behind him. It will come to Hatto, who swipes it on the volley low, bouncing like a skimming stone on the turf of Stamford Bridge. And it's wide of the left-hand post. Burnley goal kick 1-0.
Yeah, I think that's just come clean off the shin. Just Hatto was a little too eager to get onto it. Doesn't connect as he'd want to. We're just getting a replay of this collision. Well, do you know what? I think potentially there is more contact than there looked to be at first sight. I still think he's looking for it. I still think it's soft, but there is a coming together.
So Bashir Humphreys replaced by Loom Chowner, and Ashley Barnes, who is going to get his 203rd Premier League appearance. He's going to replace Jayden Anthony. Barnes, who is only behind Ben Mee for Burnley top flight appearances, and he's 7 goals behind Chris Wood for most Premier League goals for Burnley. Can he get one closer to Chris Wood? We will wait and see. With 7 minutes to go in League 2 earlier today, Fleetwood Town 3, Barrow 2, Swindon 1, Crewe 2. Swindon missed the chance to go into the top automatic promotion places with that result, particularly with other results going against them as well. Here is Chan, the first action for him, he's cut off by Hatto. It'll be a throw in at Burnley by the corner flag, deep inside the Chelsea half on Burnley's right. Accrington 0, Shrewsbury 2, Bristol Rovers 3, Grimsby 1, Cheltenham 1, Salford City 2, Colchester are leading Barnet 3-1, Crawley 1-0 behind at home against Chesterfield, Gillingham 0, Oldham 3, cross sent in from the right hand side by Brun Larson, scooped away off the right palm of Sanchez, diving away from his goal in his 6-yard box. Couple of Burnley players lurking. Ashley Barnes now tries to get back in position as the long ball comes over. He can head it back towards goal, but not in play. Flags up anyway for offside. Chance breaks down for Burnley, trailing 1-0.
Yeah, but what a wicked delivery from Brun Larson. That's right hand side. He just gets it out his feet and he just plays it right into that gap between the goalkeeper and the back. Well, 5 as it is now really for Chelsea. Trying to just shut up shop, extra bodies back there. Wicked delivery, just drops, and Sanchez comes out with his arm and almost has to just like palm it clear. Very unorthodox, but a brilliant effort, that said, by the goalkeeper. Clears the danger.
Elsewhere in League 2, Harrogate 0, Bromley 0, Newport 0, Cambridge 2. That puts Cambridge up to 2nd tonight in League 2 as it stands. And Notts County 4, Tranmere Rovers 0 completes what's happening in League 1. Sports report from 5 o'clock over on BBC Radio 5 Live. When we're done here, tune into that, flick your dial across on BBC Sounds, and you'll be able to get the latest with Mark Chapman ahead of our 5:30 kickoff, which is West Ham against Bournemouth. Chelsea throw now deep inside the Burnley half, near side their left. Hatto needs an option, uses Delat, good muscle from him, then he swipes in across, control with no Chelsea player in the penalty area. That's where Delat should have been before he crossed the ball in.
Yeah, and that's difficulty when you make that decision as a striker when down a player, only a few minutes to go, you choose to swing it in. Now you got to get back and defend. Earlier
in League 1, leaders Cardiff battered by Plymouth 5-2. Rotherham lost at home in the South Yorkshire derby 2-1 to Doncaster Rovers. Wickham 3, Stevenage 1. Here come Burnley. Rest of the scores to come in a minute. Burnley have won a corner here on the far side. Their fans in the little pocket down to our left hand side getting a little bit more vocal. They know a big push is needed from their team in the final 4 minutes.
Yeah, and this is one of those opportunities again. We've said it a few times. Can you put a delivery in? It's going to ask questions.
Well, if any man can deliver a set piece, it's James Ward-Prowse, but he goes short, uses Chowner, whips it in. There's the head from Esteve. It flies up into the air. Sanchez makes the call, and as the ball drops back down to earth, he is able to catch it, tries to release almost immediately Pedro Neto. Hannibal's on the chase. Neto was never getting there, so from deep within the Burnley half, they will start again. Bolton have just equalised 2-2 now at home to Blackpool. These are the latest scores in League 1. Huddersfield 2, Barnsley 1, Luton 1, Burton 0, Mansfield 0, Lincoln 1, Leyton Orient winning away at Northampton Town by 2-1. It's Peterborough 3, Exeter City 3 now, as Edwards was caught by a long leg, but a reckless leg from Enzo Fernandez. 30 yards from goal. Burnley free kick right of centre.
And it looked like Edwards might have just overran that. Does just get caught on the foot as he tries to cut inside, dribble across the face. Just probably stands on his toe, Enzo Fernandez there. Just about.
Double change for Chelsea. Pedro Neto replaced. If they'd made that change a little sooner, he might have had the pace to chase it down. Either one of Mohamed Sarr or Josh Acheampong, both defenders though, so it is an attacking defensive change from Liam Rosenior, who probably realises the seriousness of the situation. Chelsea never found that second goal. They've been reduced down to 10, and now they are trying to prevent Burnley finding an equaliser away from home. Reece James also replaced. Josh Acheampong on in his place. Rest of the League One scores for you. Port Vale 0, Reading 1, Stockport and Wigan. All the goals came in the first half. 2-2. Wigan down to 10 in that game. AFC Wimbledon 2, Bradford City 0. Good result for Wimbledon. It stops Bradford closing in though on the top two, runaway top two now really of League One in Cardiff and Lincoln. Championship scores both full times from the lunchtime kickoffs and earlier and currently to come in a moment. 90 seconds left of the 90 minutes here at Stamford Bridge. This game on a knife edge. Chelsea leading by a goal to 0, but it's not comfortable at all. Free kick. James Ward-Prowse wafts the left hand in the air, bends it in, right-footed for the attacking header that goes onto the roof of the net and screams to the sky from the Burnley player Ashley Barnes, who was offside anyway. Flag meant the goal wouldn't have counted, but that was close, Rachel Corsie.
It certainly was, and that's the deliveries we've been talking about. He's just sort of being nudged offside by the Chelsea backline, which is one of those tactics that you take on with risks, because if someone else in your line drops earlier, you can get yourself in trouble. The line stayed good though, was offside, and I think that's the sort of chance from Ashley Barnes that he would fancy himself, and I think that's what we saw in the reaction from him. He knows headers like that are the moments that we've seen in the past.
Robert Sanchez is going into the book for time wasting 2 balls on the pitch, and he was really quite jokey about which one to clear or the rush to clear one. So it will be a free kick to Chelsea. Earlier in the Championship then today, Hull City, poor result for them, losing 3-1 at home to QPR. Stoke City 2, Leicester City 2 in Gary Rowett's one of his first games in charge. Swansea 1, Bristol City 0, and West Brom 0, Coventry City 2. The leaders extending their lead prior to Middlesbrough kicking off at 3 o'clock. Chelsea won a free kick midway inside the Burnley half. Hannibal's not happy. Enzo Fernandez to ground. Chelsea have the ball in their hand, have in fact just bowled it away through Tosin there just to waste a little bit more time. Middlesbrough dropping points as it stands. Advantage Coventry back to 3 points. 0-0 at home to Oxford United. 6 minutes of added time here. Millwall 1, Portsmouth 3, Norwich 1, Birmingham City 2, Charlton 1, Southampton 1 at St Mary's. Watford are leading Derby a goal to 0. Wrexham now have 5 against Ipswich into the top 6. They lead Ipswich by 5 goals to 3. In the Premier League, Aston Villa Leeds United available for you on 5 Live right now. Leeds are winning 1-0, Brentford 0, Brighton 2. Reports of that game. Here, 6 minutes of added time. We've only just restarted play. We've had 30 seconds of that additional 6. Chelsea leading by a goal to 0. Chelsea winning a throw-in deep inside the Burnley half on this near side there left.
Yeah, and that's probably got the biggest reaction in this second half from some of the Chelsea fans, which probably reflect how well Burnley have done to stay in the game. He's just kicking the ball off the opposition, winning a throw-in, trying to see the game out. Enzo Fernandez with it under close control in this corner.
And trying to keep it in the corner, Chelsea, but they've not successfully done so. Burnley will still be 9 points adrift of safety with 11 games to go. West Ham play Bournemouth at 5:30 over on 5 Live. Forest play Liverpool tomorrow in your 5 Live sport commentary from 2 o'clock. Premier League Sunday live from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And a Spurs Arsenal from 4:30. Reports and updates of Manchester City Newcastle United from 8 o'clock tonight. Ball into Brun Larsen, right hand side, sliding across was Andre Santos. Corner to Burnley here. Chelsea fan applaud for the defensive work. Burnley fans applaud because they're at the right end of the field.
Yeah, good discipline from Santos. Has to cover a full-back, stepping out. Down the sides Burnley went, and just gets across, slides in.
James Ward-Prowse on this near side. Burnley's right, outswinging delivery expected from the 31-year-old who struggled for game time this season when at West Ham. Out of favour with Nuno. In goes the ball, attacking header, and Burnley have done it! Zian Fleming's header into the far left corner against 10-man Chelsea. Martin Dubravka's run to the other end of the pitch to celebrate. It could be a massive point in Burnley's fight for survival in the Premier League. Chelsea never found the second goal, and Burnley, through being calm and composed and waiting for the moment, have done it. Another away goal for Zian Fleming, and it is Chelsea 1, Burnley 1.
It's a brilliant goal. It's well worked. You know the corner's going to be outswung from Ward-Prowse, and Zian Fleming, he just holds his run. He looks like he's nowhere near it, not interested, comes right across into the front post area. He's going to be 8-9 yards out. It's a brilliant header. Just creates the room for himself. The Chelsea players don't get tight to begin with, And as the ball comes in, it comes in with pace, flat to the ground. Nobody's with Fleming whatsoever, and he just guides his header. He doesn't have to jump for it, it's perfect height, he just comes onto it and he just guides it into the far post. Chelsea far too passive, nobody attacking the ball, those players in and around the 6-yard box, almost static on their heels. Tosin's probably nearest it, but can't get close enough. And Burnley have deserved that, you have to say.
Huge leaps of joy from Scott Parker and his backroom staff. Zian Fleming celebrates by putting the ball under his shirt and sucking his thumb. And Burnley have really sucked the life out of Stamford Bridge here. 1-1 the score, 3 minutes left to play. Burnley have a free kick inside their own half. Zian Fleming, 6 Premier League goals this season, all 6 away from home.
Well, I have to say today, I think he's been very impressive. He's done a lot of graft without the ball. He's helped the midfield. He had a task in the first half, which was a lot about preventing Caicedo at times get the ball freely and pass forward. And as the game's continued, he's always tried to lead the line. He's been a handful for the centre-backs for Chelsea in the moments that have allowed it. And in the end, he gets his goal.
Very high Chelsea line here. Burnley still have 2 minutes and a bit more, because we were shown 6 minutes. 4 we have played of added time. Big celebrations for Burnley on their equalising goal, so there is still time. Burnley went short from the free kick, but they are still pressing that Chelsea defence. Left hand side, skip from Lucas Perez, it comes to Marcus Edwards, they could win it here, takes the shot, deflects off a sliding Chelsea player, Tosin in the way. Burnley corner, what has this game become?
Well, that's a chance, and I just wonder if Edwards doesn't realise he's got so much space early on. I think he can touch and shoot, but as he takes his first touch, he almost doesn't appreciate the space is there, and by the time he delays, I think Tosin does well to just get out to him.
Burnley's only win in the Premier League against Chelsea came on this ground back in 2017. Huge cries of "come on Burnley" from the Burnley fans at the other end of the field. Corner right hand side, near side for Burnley. Ward-Prowse's last delivery from this side resulted in a Burnley goal. Could they do the same again? Out-swinging ball goes in, attack with the header and just over the bar. Goodness me, they very nearly did do it all over again.
Well, I think that's as good a chance as the last one, and it comes from Bryn Larson, which maybe it's not his strength, but it sort of just lands. He does well to get up. It's a free header, and I think Ashley Barnes does well. He's occupying the Chelsea players. Likely expect him to be the main target. Bryn Larson it falls to should do better for me.
Barnes hooks it forward. Zian Fleming head down will begin the chase around Tosin, but there is cover available in the form of Mamadou Sarr. Tosin, who incidentally made his debut on this ground 10 years ago to the very day. It wasn't good for Manchester City that day. Here is Delap to volley it, smacks it in between the first and second tiers, and the ball bounces back down onto the pitch. The referee checks his watch. There are boos from Chelsea fans knowing they let 3 points slip in their quest for the top 4. They sneak into those European Champions League places just on goal difference. Manchester United have a game in hand. Burnley, however, they're still 8 points adrift, but 8 sounds better than 9, and Zian Fleming's header 3 minutes into the 6 added on has given Burnley another crucial away day in the capital, winning against Crystal Palace 10 days ago, and they have got a point at Stamford Bridge. As an invader onto the pitch that's being led away to spoil the end of the match as the players all shake hands, but the credit goes to Burnley for sticking in the game. If you'd seen this game after 5 or 10 minutes, Rachel Corsie, this is a walkover for Chelsea. Somehow Burnley hung on, and as the second half improved, so did they.
Absolutely, and it really looked that way. You know, before the goal, Chelsea had one of those moments where they could have scored, and you think after 4 minutes, how can you have 2 goal scoring opportunities in a game and not go on to win it? Just out in front of us in the middle of the pitch, Zian Fleming's with a physio. He can't actually shake hands right now because he can't walk, which reflects the effort he's put in, the ground he covered, and was the player in the end who did get that Burnley goal to get him. That's what could be a very vital point, although as you say, there's still a little adrift. It still seems a very tough task, but huge point for them from a Chelsea perspective. You know, after taking the lead, I felt was a fairly average performance on the whole. We spoke before the game about their attacking quality and how also they always concede, and you just felt as the game progressed at 1-0 there was going to be that moment for Burnley, and it's happened again for them. And too many games, I would say, from my perspective, they concede chances and they concede goals, and you can't always rely on the fact in the Premier League you're going to score 2 or 3 goals to win a game.
No side has dropped more points at home in the Premier League from winning positions than Chelsea. That is now 17 points dropped this season. If you add those 17 points on, they're top of the league. They're ahead of Arsenal, but they have faltered once again. But credit to Burnley, who do score away from home. They often concede too many, but they haven't today. It is the first time in 8 Premier League away games against London sides that they haven't conceded 2 or more goals. Palmer grimaces as he heads down the tunnel. Zian Fleming in conversation with his teammates, who now all head to this bottom corner to celebrate and applaud the Burnley fans, who will applaud them back. Their fight will go on. 8 points, the gap to Nottingham Forest, who take on Liverpool tomorrow at the City Ground. Scott Parker's game plan came off in the end for Burnley today.
Yeah, it really did. And you'd have to say, you know, Dubravka in the goal, he barely had a save to make. He actually could have potentially saved the goal that did go in, although it would have been quite a miss had João Pedro not finished that. But you look through the core of the team, and for me, I thought Joe Worrell marshalled things very well, defended resiliently in the central. I thought Hannibal in the middle of the pitch competed, and at the moments when he could get on the ball, did really well to keep it, create opportunities, build attacks. And when they went a player up, he really was the one that was constructing things. And then, as we've touched on, Fleming for me was the character that you always felt he deserved that opportunity with his work rate and how difficult he made it for Chelsea. So Chelsea need to go back and find a way to lift themselves, because they now have quite a tough run in the games that are coming, other competitions as well they want to compete in. But for Burnley, I think that's a massive result, and another one backing up that Crystal Palace result, where you think in the league, can we just build a bit of momentum?
I'm going to touch on that. You're right with Chelsea. Arsenal away, Villa away, Wrexham away. Their next 3 games, none of them on paper are going to be comfortable for Liam Resenya's side. But this is it about Burnley. We spoke about it just before kick-off, how they went to Palace last week, got air, as Scott Parker said in his post-match interview. His pre-match interview before the Mansfield game, which they messed up and lost at home, and kind of lost that confidence. This again builds it. Brentford at home will be winnable. Brentford are better on the road at the minute than they are at the G-Tech, but they will see that as winnable. Everton away, they have yet to make the Hill Dickinson Stadium a fortress, Everton, this season. And then Bournemouth at home, who are hit and miss, particularly as this season has progressed. So if they can use this now as a springboard, then actually 8 points might become 5, might become 2, and might be game on again.
That's it, and momentum can be so important, and player confidence, and just the relationships within the team, and making one another just feel that little bit taller, play a little bit better, and chip away at those results. And you'd rather be going into this run of games, yes, you're in a difficult position, but you want to go into them feeling, let's have something we can build upon. And that does feel like a result today can certainly do that. My concern is sometimes when you play their teams, when you come away to Chelsea, you know you're going to be disciplined, you know you're going to defend well. Shaky start, but then otherwise in the first half they were really difficult to break down. You've got to bring the same level of discipline and intensity to your out of possession work against all those teams you've just touched on, and then you have a chance. Then you are going to be in those games, and then you get to back the fact when you do get those opportunities at the other end, can you take them?